So, continuing with the first skill, that is listening. I was saying that we have to be a good listener, because a good listener is always a good communicator, and vice versa. Then we have to include the groups, the children, the students into the group discussions, the group research. Then this is to encourage them to speak, to be on their own, to encourage them to speak up their mind. So this will be one step in the in improving communication skills. The next soft skill is friendliness. Now, friendliness means when you go to your class, you begin your class by asking how every student is feeling. How was their day? You can, maybe any child is having a problem. You can just ask him, how is he feeling? That will give you a connect with the students. This will help you to get connected to your students. Ask them about their interests. Infuse enthusiasm in them. To start your chapter, start your class with certain activities or certain talks which fills your students with all enthusiasm. So that is how you can be your student's friend. At least at the same time, you have to keep a distance also. Making friendly, being friend to your children doesn't mean that you talk on all levels to them. You got to maintain certain distance with them. You got to maintain a teacher-pupil gap with them. But at the same time, you have to be friendly, you have to think in their terms and then approach them. This will encourage them to talk to you without any inhibitions. They will be able to share with you their problems, and this will encourage more participation. Your rapport with the students will be improving, and you will be able to establish credibility in the class. So this skill will again help you to understand your children, and your children will be able to speak freely to you, share with you, and they'll be trusting you more. Next skill is open-mindedness. Now, open-mindedness here means some students we know are privileged while others are not so privileged in terms of resources. Some students are from good background, some are not from so good background. They have different backgrounds. They may not be having all communication options open to them. They may not be able to talk to you on all fronts. So we have to accept those students, like fine, if they are not having all the resources, they need more of our support. They need more of our attention. We have to give them more attention, not neglect them at all. If you will be following this kind of an attitude, the other students will follow the same. So this open-mindedness in the classroom will make the class atmosphere very congenial, very pleasant. Now, in this way, students will also develop a positive attitude towards their classmates, and the learning environment will definitely be healthier. So the open-mindedness will definitely remove all the inhibitions amongst them. Next skill is the feedback. The feedback is very important in your class. You go to the class, take 2-3 minutes time to ponder upon what you have done in the last class, start your chapter, and at the end again take some time, say maybe 10 minutes or so, to ask them what you have taught the very same day in that class. Ask them questions. Tell them pre-handedly that I might ask any roll number, random roll numbers, to ask you I'll be asking certain questions from the topic which I am going to take up today. Children will be alert, they'll be attentive, and attention has to be built up. It has to be there. So for the last 10 minutes, you can ask the main points. You can ask what the topic was done, what were the main points. And then if they are able to tell the points, they know that you may ask them they will be more alert and more attentive. Now, this means if they are able to answer, it will boost up their morale. There'll be positive change in their learning tendencies. It will also affect their mental well-being. So this way, you can again be better, you can be a better performer. The children would be better, rather, their performance would definitely improve. Now, it's said that children's span of attention is, say, 20 to 30 minutes. So out of 40 minutes of class, if you will teach for 25 minutes and for 5 minutes, you will give them some activity or something like that, or you'll make a connect with them. And for the last 10 minutes, when you will take the feedback, definitely the output of the whole class, the output of the whole lecture will be much better. Apart from this, the next important skill is confidence. Very important again. You will show confidence, your children will be showing confidence. Sometimes it happens, there may be some errors in your online teaching, or apart from there, in some function, some activity you are taking up, and there are hurdles, there are some unwanted, unexpected errors, like in class, online class, there may be an unwanted noise. Don't let distractions ruin your lesson. Be a role model. Tell them that errors, mistakes, sometimes distractions do occur, and we have to keep moving. We have to keep going. Things are at certain levels, at certain points, things are not in our hands. But then we have to give our best. We have to find the solutions. If a child has a problem in learning or any other issue apart from the syllabus and all, and if you snub him saying, no, we don't want to talk about it, you can't do. No, don't do that. Tell him we'll find some alternative way. He's doing some activity, he's not able to do. Tell him the option, tell him the alternative way. This will inculcate confidence in the child. That, okay, fine, it's okay, we might make mistakes, but then the mistakes are not the roadblocks. It should not be the roadblock. We have to keep moving ahead. So that way, again, the child and your channels of speaking, channels of communication will be opened. The next and the final is non-verbal communication. Apart from the verbal, now these days we are using online classes, we have to have non-verbal communications. Our eye contact, our voice tone, our gaze, our hand gestures, we have to be proactive. All these non-verbal modes of communication definitely goes a long way in grabbing the attention of the children and opening up the channels. Eye contact. If I'm not looking at the camera, I'm looking here or there and then this way or that way. I mean, you people will not be taking interest in what I'm explaining. Same way, if teacher is doing the same thing, the children will not be connected. They'll not be paying attention, and attention has to be there. If they will be attentive, then only they'll be good listeners. And if they'll be good listeners, then only the communication process is successful. So such eye contacts is must. Look into, the child feels that he is being attended. Your gaze, it should be again towards the camera, towards the child, students. Then your tone, it has to be very nice. You have to show them full of enthusiasm. You have to be enthusiastic. Your expressions, smiling, enter the class in a smiling expression. No, not lethargic. Okay, fine, children, what we have to do? It's fine. What have you done yesterday? I mean, it should not look dull. You have to enter, you have to show them that you are fully involved. And if you are fully involved, if you are fully enthusiastic, you can make your students also enthusiastic. Start your lesson with something interesting. Show them a storyline, show them a picture, and let them answer from the very beginning. If that happens, definitely the children will also feel motivated, attentive, and will start taking interest in your class. Now, these are certain skills of the communication channels. And now I'll come to the next part. Why is it important? Why is the communication, effective communication skills important for the teachers and for the students as well? The first thing, it helps in building self-efficacy. If your communication skills are effective, if you are having control on everything, it will definitely, your self-ability, the belief in your self-ability will be better. Now, in this case, if you achieve certain level of efficiency in your work, you will be more confident. You will be spending less time preparing your lessons. You will be finding new ways, innovative ways, discover new ways to make your chapter, make your topic easy, simpler, and concise. So that means if communication is positive, if it is effective, if you are efficient, if you become efficient, you think your children are going to listen to you 100%, then your work is, I mean, your labor, your work, your hard work, which you're going to do, will take lesser time. You will find new ways to involve your children. You yourself will find that you become more innovative. The next quality, the next benefit is empathy and compassion. Everyone knows empathy is ability to recognize and respond to other people's emotions. Empathy and compassion is very essential when you talk about others, when you share your things, when you share your speaking, when you share yourself with others. In the class also, every child comes from a different background with different set of mind, different bent of mind, etc. So when we know, when we feel that every other person is hurt and we feel hurt, if other person is happy, we feel happy. That means we are empathizing with that person. Now that person will definitely be able to, will be able to correlate that, okay, this teacher is very concerned, this teacher is very compassionate towards the child. Every child is of different nature. So when children, they have their problems and they're talking to you, they are sharing with you, and you lend them a helping hand by bringing them out of that problem, the children and teacher connect becomes all the more stronger and powerful. So such connect, such bridging between the two will definitely help children to learn better, to improve their academic performance, and definitely a weak child, a poor performer will also start performing better. The byproduct of empathy and compassion is emotional intelligence, a way of recognizing, understanding, and choosing how we think, feel, and act. Now, how we feel, how we think, and how we act. Now, empathy and compassion is like when we see other people, we relate with other person's emotional. And emotional intelligence is how we deal with ourselves, and how we talk about, how we see to others. So that means this emotional intelligence leads to listening, sharing, and comforting others. So that means when we have emotional intelligence skill, the quality, this is very important. Again, the researcher says a person whose emotional intelligence level is very good, his success in life is dependent 80% on emotional intelligence. He's able to make conscious decision. He is able to include others. He's able to be considerate towards others, and it definitely facilitates effective communication. So again, coming back to effective communication, if we can correlate with other person's problems and problems and good points, good things, we are able to develop a stronger channel. We are able to develop a good communication bonding. Finally, we have assertiveness. The assertiveness means the quality of being self-assured and confident without being aggressive. some teachers I find get aggressive on one pretext or the other. If the child is saying something, or if a child is commenting, or if he's making mistakes repeatedly, we have to show our level, that we are elder, we are more mature than our children, and we have to show that once we have a connect with our children, with our students, we can very well develop the quality of assertiveness. We know that these are our conditions in the class. These are our requirements from the children, and we are able to say that without being aggressive, we can make the children do what we want to do, what we want them to do. So if we have to get the work done from our children, we have to show them our assertiveness without at the same time being aggressive. Now, in every class, there are 1 or 2 children who are always in the spotlight. They would ask questions, they would have queries, they would have curiosities, they'll speak other students' opinion also. All of you agree that there are certain children like that? Now, such children should not be snubbed. They should not be snubbed at all. They should be given the chance to speak. And if they speak, their answers, whatever their queries are, whatever their issues are, they should be handled very tactfully. If the teacher is assertive and is able to communicate effectively, the child will also learn to be assertive. And that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. He doesn't need to be aggressive. He has to be assertive, speaking your mind. We have to teach our students to be assertive. Now, these are some of the benefits, I can say, why we should be having the communication skills. Now, we don't have to encourage the children to be argumentative or aggressive. Finally, I'll be talking about the roadblocks to the effective communication. Now, effective communication can only occur if a teacher takes care of certain things. Keeping the present generation in mind, the present times in mind, certain points I have listed out, which we have to take care. We are not to give orders often. Gone are the times when we were always yelling and shouting and ordering and hitting the children, and fine. The children were like that, they were used to this. But in the present generation, we all know that every family has 1 or 2 children and they're all pampered. So rather than giving orders, we have to explain these children the logics. We have to convince them. Our convincing has to be stronger to make them do our way. The teacher has to make the student do anything. I assure you, a teacher can make the child do anything she wants or he wants if she's able to convince, give logical reasoning for his questions or his tantrums. Definitely the child will be obedient and he will be very, very well mannered. It all depends upon we as teachers. The next thing is no threatening. Threatening is out of place today. It leads to serious repercussions. The children do not have that much of tolerance. We have to teach them that they have to be tolerant, but not through threatening, but through love, compassion, and affection. The children should not be ridiculed even. If they are telling wrong answer or anything, they should not be ridiculed. If teacher will ridicule that, the children, the other students might make the same act. They might do the same thing. And do not pass sarcastic remarks to the students. I've seen in my life the teachers were giving such remarks. This is again a very bad, leaves a very bad impact on the child's psyche if you give sarcastic remarks to the students. So that has to be there. That has not to be there. That has to be taken care of. No such sarcastic remarks are to be given to the students. And thirdly, do not preach what you can't practice yourself. It's very important. Teachers keep saying, come properly dressed up, be happy, be positive, be punctual. And they themselves are neither punctual, not properly dressed, grumbling, not honest, not in time. That cannot, you cannot make your children as per your way. You cannot mold the students in that case. So do not preach what you can't practice. Rather, preach what you can practice and see the result. The children will definitely see you as their idol. Don't argue. Do not argue with your students. Your maturity level and the students' maturity level is different. Students will be students, they are children. And we are elders, we are more in age. So in that case, we cannot argue. If we argue, the children will become argumentative. They'll always be ready to argue. And this will set a wrong example even in the class. So arguments should be stopped, because arguments will cut the barriers. It will build the barriers between the student and the teachers. It will create barriers between the students and the teachers. So don't use that at all. Never judge your students. Don't judge the book by its cover. As it is said, the students should not be judged by their once or two times behavior. They are in the habit of speaking lies. They are in the habit of not doing the homework. Give them time, once, twice, thrice, fine. If still the child is not doing, try to figure out the problem behind it. Try to figure out the cause, that why the child is doing this, why the child is not doing the work. Maybe he has certain problems at home. Maybe he's having some issues. Maybe he's not well. Try to find out. And if you will empathize with this child, try to know about the reasons for that behavior. Maybe it's aggressive behavior, maybe it's lying, maybe it's not doing the work. If you will try to find it out with the child, if you will try to speak to the child, give him a congenial atmosphere, give him a comforting gesture, you will find that the child will gradually open up and you'll get to know the exact reason. And then according to that reason, you can mold the child, you can make the child do what you want to take up. So these are some of the ideas which I wanted to share with you. Back to the screen. So these are some of the ideas which I wanted to share with you all. And with these, my experience of such a vast experience I have come across and I brought these ideas to you. I hope you must have carefully listened. Some of you must be following certain ideas, and maybe more you can find out. My ideas would help you to be better in your profession. And any questions if you have? Yes, there's a question. Somebody has asked, when we tell them that we are going to, okay, yes. I'm taking your question, ma'am. You're not audible, ma'am. Please unmute yourself. Please unmute. Still, I cannot hear you. Anyway, can you hear me? I have read your question and I'll give the answer. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, I can hear you, ma'am. Is it the same question which you have put in the chat?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, online, there's always a problem that you ask the questions and the student just leave the class. What you can do, just tell them that, okay, we will be giving you kind of an incentive, like we'll be giving you grades, we'll be giving you some kind of marks for this if you just answer the question, even if it is wrong. Tell them, even if you give wrong answer, I'm not going to snub you. You will be given a credit for that also. Even if the wrong answer is, at least they will speak. At least they will.
Okay.
They must be. First of all, we have to inculcate confidence. Let them speak. Ask them, give wrong answers. No, man. You can tell them the correct answer. I think that will help. Any other question?
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Any other question? Anyone? Yeah, there's a question from Ruchi Jan. Is Ruchi Jan ma'am there? Okay, the question is, how do I get students to study, as in the 2 years they become more involved in social media but not in studies? Yes, that's again really a problem, that they are becoming addicted to phone and social media. Only thing here you can do is, you just have to motivate them. You just have to tell them that once the school becomes offline, sorry, once the school becomes offline, the problem will be even worse. If the child is not learning today even the basics of any class, whichever class he's studying, and then when he comes to the actual offline classrooms, they will be blank. He'll be blank totally if he doesn't pay attention right now. So you just have to convince him with your love and with your motivation that rather than spending more time on social media, the student should give time to studies, whatever topics are being done, he has to give time to them. Otherwise, he'll be left behind the remaining class. It's only through love, through positive motivation, the parents can do that, or the teachers also can do that. Yes. Any other question? The recording of this program will be available. Sir, our mentor, sir, Mr. Matthews. Can I see, sir? Are you there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm there.
Yeah, actually.
Thank you so much.
I would
thank
like
you so much for
yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for the session. First of all, for sparing your valuable time. And you know, in this busy schedule of yours, you have taken out so much time. That is also commendable. And so many participants were there eager to listen to you. That is also commendable. So time is the greatest resource, and we are all trying to learn from each other. So on behalf of All India Educators Forum, it is my proud privilege to thank Deepika Malik ma'am, who has organized this program for you for the benefit of our members. And I'm sure that there will be many more programs coming up on this topic and anything else that you want. So you are most welcome to give your topics, your suggestions to ma'am or to me, so that we can work on those, and the kind of program that you want to listen, the kind of program that you want to attend. We always try to bring that in our platform. So this is your platform, so you can ask for anything. You can opt for yourself as a resource person. If you have sufficient content, then you can come forward and approach me. And so this has been a very good session. It has been a short and sweet session, I would say, and taking out time on a weekday is difficult for everyone. So I want to thank you all for coming and attending this, and special thanks to Deepika ma'am, who had to prepare this module for you. So thank you, ma'am, once again.
My pleasure, sir. Sir, there are one or two questions if you would like to answer. There is a
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, how to make the child speak who has inhibitions to speak or express himself. Since you are
okay, so as far as inhibition is concerned, this is not only a problem of students. We have problems with teachers also coming and speaking on a platform, or even to switch on the camera. We always tell that students don't switch on the camera. How many of us are ready to switch on the camera during a session? It becomes so, you know, when we keep ourselves in their place, sometimes it becomes difficult for them to speak on a public platform, right? So because, you know, there is always that fear, what will others say? So as ma'am said, I think the comfort level is very important. You have to make the child comfortable. And, initially ask simple questions, give a lot of encouragement to the child. Oh, you have done well. Ask simple questions. Initially, if you are asking a tough question, the child may not open his mouth and gets discouraged because, the all his classmates. And remember, when you're conducting a class, it is not only the kids who are attending, it is also the parents who are in their homes also. So what happens is that when you are ridiculing or when you are asking very tough questions, the child is in an embarrassing position. So what happens is that those inhibitions are there, and then what happens is the child never opens his mouth. As I think one of the participants here said that they leave the class. So that is the best way, running away. so that is a problem which we have to face. But at the same time, I think if we encourage them, if we build a rapport, okay, my ma'am or my sir is not going to, scold me. It's only for my benefit. So that kind of relationship has to be built with the student. Then I think slowly they will open up. They'll be more comfortable.
Fine, sir. That was very good on your part to take up this question. And there are few questions, but we are running short of time. As far as it, so in the group, I can, if you have any questions or queries, any one of you, the group which has been formed will be remaining active for another 2 days. And after that, I think we have to go do away with that group. I would request the recording would be put up in that group soon, and 1 or 2 days I'll be there. This group will keep active. You can put up the questions. I'll try to answer there. And after that, I request all of you to please exit the group, since this group will be dissolved after the seminar. I think we should wind up, sir.
So the recording will be posted by ma'am in the group, right? And if you have any problems, please contact ma'am regarding this session. If you have any suggestions or anything to do, then you can contact me. Otherwise, this session will be closed in 2 days. The group will be closed in 2 days, right? Thank you.
Thank you,
everyone. Feedback link didn't post. Feedback link didn't post.
Yeah, I didn't post feedback. You can give your. I have not done that. You can just.
You can give the feedback in the group, ma'am. If 1 or 2 days you can.
Any certificate? Shall we get certificate?
No, ma'am. This is not for, no certificate for this. This was just for a learning webinar. So sometimes we have to attend webinars not for certificate but for learning purpose also. So
it's motivation, no certificate. If you give it is a motivation, right?
Yeah. So, but actually, what happens is that when it was, I think, mentioned in the group, if you have joined the group through group, that the certificates for this webinar is not there. So any webinar you are attending, ma'am, so it will be mentioned there that this is with certificate or not certificate. So that is why it will not be issued, because I think it was specified in the group. Are you in the WhatsApp group, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ma'am, it was specified there. Then.
Okay, sir. No problem. No problem. In future, you provide certificate.
Yeah, next.
We are giving, ma'am, for 90% of the webinars we are having. If you are aware of our All India Educators Forum. So the thing is that for some webinars we don't give. So most of the webinars certificates are given.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Right, ma'am. Thank you so much, Deepika, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, the audience.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, sir.